Moving on, just to give you an idea of our outreach program that we've just begun. We're looking to increase our physical security, continue coordination with local law enforcement, support in the legislative arena to increase penalty, and then of course now this community outreach program to let individuals know and organizations know that we are taking this much more seriously and intend to promote the idea of penalty for participation in this. Current law and legislation, they are a federal offense against the district because we are an integral part of Homeland Security, so it is very serious. We work with local law enforcement to capture, and it mentions copper thieves, but just again, our water department is very concerned about aluminum gates and so forth. So all of IID and again all of the counties affected by this. We will prosecute to the full extent of the law. No one's going to get their hands slapped. We will follow through on that. There's a couple of bills mentioned here just in reference that imposes fines, requires additional identification, and even these can be enhanced even more, or they are intending to enhance even more the current penalties for this type of theft.
There's been that cooperation from the local scrap metal yards, etc., to impose that 3-day waiting period before they get paid, before they pay, the person that brings the material in.
Generally speaking, we have good cooperation. I know there's been some talk about enhancing this even more. For example, taking a picture of the individual right next to whatever it is that they're selling. That would be an enhancement of enforcement. Undoubtedly, that would make someone nervous. It was passing out the presentation. Yeah. And so our outreach program and a work program, you see, and I believe you'll have some copies of the posters of what we intend to do to advertise what we're doing, to point out that there's a reward up to $2,500 for the capture and conviction of someone stealing copper from IID. We plan on billboards, newspapers, these posters. We're going to be doing quite a few presentations in the community, to other councils, to homeowner associations, to all governmental agencies to highlight this. And just as a side note, there is a kind of, you might say, a parallel process being endeavored by the Farm Bureau, and you notice that their reward for arrest and conviction is $500 twice to help, because again, this affects not just the district, but it affects agricultural community, equipment and so forth. It's truly amazing what's happening all around us.
Let me ask you this: is your counterpart on the Mexican side of the border, Comisión Federal de Electricidad, CFE, etc., are they experiencing these same losses? And is there material that's being stolen or improperly taken heading south, where they're cashing in south of the border rather than exposing themselves to the cooperation from law enforcement and the IID and the scrapyards, etc., to avoid that scrutiny?
I can't answer that with assurance, but I think with good guess is that they are. Copper is too valuable.
Are the prices in Mexicali, though, for the metals similar to what they are here, or is there a lot less paid for that?
Yeah, that I don't know. I'd have to check with
I'm just wondering if the metals are going, like when a number of years ago, several years ago, when you had a lot of theft of the gates, wound up that they were being taken to San Diego, and they were found in yards up there, and by a gentleman that was arrested ultimately on that. So maybe they're even going north to other places, transforming the shape of them, melting them down or whatever, so they're not as identifiable. But
all electric utilities on the U.S. side are experiencing this type of problem, so it's logically that the Commission has to experience the same.
Mike, one of the questions that, a lot of people, high voltage, just people stealing, has there been any, as a result of this illegal activity, any deaths that have occurred here in the irrigation service area?
No, not today. They found some urine on the ground, but other than that.
Soiled, pants left behind. It's...
there has been, and I think in Riverside County, there's been one in recent times.
As a, country resident, there's, my wife and I on our morning walks, because of the grounding and the way the IID does it, and these folks somehow have climbed the poles, have, removed that safety measure, and it's going to just either go to the next one or next area where it's grounded, and, if there's a safety issue there, this not only, again, is a health and safety issue within the irrigation districts, but the entire area, because you can have either households or families or so forth impacted this. I think people need to really understand those transmission lines are serving a purpose, but when they're tampered, they can become, unfortunate, an accident that could occur from a variety of different reasons. And so these grounding, they're probably a half-inch in diameter, copper, lags are being removed, and it's we find the big clevis or the actually steeples, whatever word they're used, laying around, and it's the first sign, and there's going to, how many tires they're going to ruin.
Yeah, it's amazing. Larry, you've been up here.
This is not unique to IID. Certainly, I know that in Raleigh, the Shield said that they've been hit, their air conditioner's been hit 3 times. I've talked to the mayor of El Centro. He's currently paid, I think, $36,000 for replacement of air conditionings. I know several businesses, major air conditioning units, have been hit. I myself got the privilege of paying $5,100 for a new air conditioning unit. So it is certainly not unique to IID, and that's why I asked the sheriff and also with the city of El Centro, and I know other cities would be interested. This cannot be fought alone. It's got to be fought, I think, jointly with all these cities and county and IID. There has to be certainly a unique and possibly different approach to catching these things. You just cannot wait for somebody to bring something in somewhere, because it's not going to happen. The recapture of these individuals, they're professionals, so they know that this place is not going to be the place to take it, and there's other places to dispose of it, other individuals to give it in their name. So I think it's my suggestion would be is that we get with the sheriff and certainly the other cities and look at ways of identifying unique lines, such as maybe when IID prints or has transmission lines or outer lines got to come in, that they put a roller on there that says IID, just stamp those. It would not be that much extra, like everything that IID would certainly utilize, and maybe even, as much as I don't know how we could do it, but air conditioning units certainly have to be somewhere along the line that we seek resolution or legislation that will identify ID numbers that will go with the unit,